Welcome, girls and ghouls, to a very special episode of the Spectre of Anti-Blackness. I am your host, a skeleton, and I watched a very scary, very haunted piece of media today. So we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna have a good time. We're gonna have laughs and maybe some frights, and it's gonna be a good time. So you might already know from reading the title of the podcast episode that you're watching that today I'm going to be talking about Candyman, which I just watched. What can I say about Candyman? Candyman is a horror movie, an adaptation of an older movie which I did not watch. I'm going to preface a little bit. I am not a very big fan of horror, honestly. Never have been. Like it doesn't like overly scare me or anything. Like I don't get like super spookered or nothing, but I never really saw the appeal of like the Conjuring and Saws, and what have you. Blair Witch Project. Um, so for a while I didn't really think horror was for me. Like those are all movies I've seen. Did I see Saw? I saw the first one definitely when I was younger. I don't think I saw any other ones. Um, but yeah, it just never really appealed to me. Uh, then I watched The Shining. Um, and I really enjoyed it. So what I want to talk about here real quick before we get into Candyman is I guess themes and genres. Genres. Yeah. I feel like that word's said differently. I don't know why I feel like that. But yeah, genres of movies and such. Specifically the horror genre. I don't know if this applies to all the different genre, but definitely horror. Um, is it just me, or have people noticed that it's not easy to make a scary movie anymore? Like, I don't know if it's because we as a society are just more desensitized to horror content, or just I think a big part of it, especially in the case of movies, is there's this failed translation among medium, because you can watch something that's scary and it's like, okay, sure, but playing something scary is a completely different experience because you have this agency um that isn't that you aren't uh given. I was gonna use a different word. Man, I'm fumbling on my words today. um but yeah, you have this certain agency that you don't have if you're just watching something. uh anyway, gonna backtrack a little bit. um I heard someone say once, I think it was a comment that I read online, a comment about a quote that they heard from somewhere. So this is way down the grapevine. But they said that jump scares in horror movies are the equivalent of a comedian coming up to you and tickling you. Which I understand. It's like, because that jump scares are more or less just like a physical, um what's the word I'm looking for? Physical, involuntary, a response to a loud or sudden stimulus, right? And much the way being touched in sensitive places, like during a tickle, will elicit laughter. Um, So I was like, oh yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. I get that. Um, so yeah, but horror movies, it's difficult. A lot of them lean on the jump scare nowadays because how do you scare people through movies? We've already seen so much shit. Um, and I think The Shining had the answer all those years ago, which is you. Well, of course, there's different genres of even within horror itself. You've got like your psychological horrors and your thrillers and your gore and all that kind of stuff. Um, a thriller would be like Scream, a gore would be like Saw, and I think that's all I had to say about the horror thing. Now, in terms of this movie that I just saw, you didn't watch it unless you did. The movie I just watched, Candyman. I think it handles horror very well. It's not scary, but I mean, what horror movie is these days, right? Um, but it is entertaining and insightful, and it has a really good story behind it, and it it uses a lot of different horror elements from the different uh, genres of horror very well. You know, it's kind of like, gory at some parts. It's like gross. Like, it's spoilers for this movie, by the way. Um, should I guess it should be known if I'm going to talk about something, there's going to be spoilers. At least if it's a full review. Um, sorry, I usually mute my freaking devices before I do this, and I failed to do that this time. So if you just heard a little ding, that's my bad. But yeah, uh, I again I didn't watch the original Candyman, but I'm to understand that the premise of it was essentially the same. I don't know background, but it is a story about race. I remember seeing online a little while back, because this movie's a little old now. I'm late. I'm sorry. Um, but I do remember seeing that people were like upset. They're like, "Oh, look, they wokeified Candyman," and the response being, "You idiot! Did you even watch the first movie in the first place?" So I guess implying that the message has always been the same. I can't speak to that because I didn't see the first movie, and I did no research before starting this podcast, which you know that's just part and parcel of the experience here. But I will say, watching the movie made me feel like I wanted to um, kind of look into it and research it and be like, oh, is this the actual story of Candyman? Like, I know it's not a true story, it's a movie, but like, is this the true story behind the Candyman thing? I remember hearing about Candyman when I was a kid. I heard about it from my older brother. He was much more into horror than I was. I remember doing Bloody Mary in the mirror. Had to be like maybe 7 or something, 7 or 8. I didn't do Candyman though. And way back then, I did not know there was a racial component to Candyman. I just knew there was something about honey and bees, and so yeah. I don't know. Again, I didn't research it yet. I'm sure I will, but I don't know if that was always the case. Um, I like that the main character is a artist who struggles to find inspiration and struggles through his work, sort of thing. I think that's cool. I can relate to that. Um, though I feel like most of my struggle in the art world just comes from lack of experience. Well, also inspiration and like finding a muse. But I don't, from not going to art school and stuff, I don't know any technique or anything like that. So it's like I don't know what the fuck to do. How do I get what I want onto this paper? Uh, that's a tangent, not related to the movie. But I like him. He's cool. I like all the characters. They all feel real and good, and most of them are black, which is good. Um, the I like how the art world is portrayed, which is like, this like, the high art world, which sucks. Um, and they did a good job of showing that sucks. And the white people in the movie suck. This isn't very this isn't a very nuanced take. I'm realizing I'm saying suck a lot. I feel like I have more insightful stuff to say about this movie, but I did literally just watch it, and I think I gotta look, but I think this is the first piece of media that I just watched for the first time, um, to then come and do this podcast about. I think everything else I saw previously, then I was watching it again, or I took a little while before I did the podcast. I don't really remember, but all that to say, um, I think it tells a great story, a very cool story. Um, it gets you thinking, which I do like to think. That's a thing that I'm a fan of. And a satisfying conclusion, maybe. I don't know. I gotta sit with a little bit more. But Jordan Peele worked on it, and he's been on his horror kick for a few years now. And I could kind of tell once it was getting to the end, I was like, "This is gonna have a happy ending." And I feel like it's difficult. Maybe I haven't seen enough black movies, but I feel like it's difficult for black creators to end on a downer note for some reason. Maybe because of all of the past trauma and past suffering that the black communities have been through. It's like, let's let's try to end it on something good. There's this part again, spoilers if you haven't seen it. But the police run in and instantly shoot the guy, and as he's laying on the floor dying, being held in the girl's arms. And at first you're like, oh damn, is this a thing on police brutality? Um, but they were called there, and of course they didn't give him a chance to defend himself or anything. But like, I'm not defending their actions. Of course, police shouldn't just come in and shoot, especially if the guy's laying on the floor. Uh, but it's not like he was just like literally some completely random guy. Like they were called there and they were on the hunt for him or whatever. Uh, and then they put her in the police car. I thought they were gonna kill her too, which I feel like is probably what would have happened in real life. But no, they arrest her and they're trying to pressure her into corroborating with the story, or else they're gonna frame her to like be a part of everything. Which if I was her, I would have just been like lawyer, But I mean, it's tricky because it's like, are you really gonna find relief in the justice system? Probably not. And your story is also crazy. You're talking about a mysterious urban legend killing people through mirrors. Um, of course, how can all the killings be linked? I mean, we don't gotta go down that rabbit hole. Um, but I will say, then she says, she does the thing. She summons him, so he comes back from being dead. Um, police are trying to shoot him, and like he doesn't care. Eating the bullets would be um an understatement. He's like inhaling them. Like eating is like guy. I don't even think he knows he's being shot. So he kills all the police, and then like he morphs. He's got all these bees around him and stuff. And at the end, I think it's the face of maybe the first Candyman. Again, I don't know. I didn't watch the movie. Um, but it morphs into this other guy's face, who it seems like we're supposed to know who it is. I'm thinking it's a cameo from the first Candyman, and he says, "Tell everyone." Um, so I don't know, ambiguous ending, but not a sour ending where everyone gets killed by police. Um, I didn't quite get the what do you call it? I guess I'm pacing around as I'm recording this. This is not a sleepy hours podcast, which is why I'm talking fast and you can barely understand me instead of laying down and sounding sleepy. This is a midday cast. But the what is the word I'm looking for? Fart. Um, Not like reason. I like there's a specific word for what I'm thinking of, and I can't think of it. But the the reason for the guy, the laundromat guy, for doing all the stuff that he's doing, I don't really understand it. I don't get what his damn, the word keeps almost coming to me, then not coming to me. It's fine. I'll forget about it. I don't want to make this cast too long. This was just a little quick deal. Um, Candyman, I will give a I don't know, 7 or 8 out of 10. It's good. Definitely, I I don't have a big horror list, but if I did have a horror list, it would be on there for sure. Um, Very enjoyable, and also talks about black stuff and art stuff, which I'm all about. Um, so yeah, I gave it a watch. Check it out. Um, that's all I got for today. I just wanted to do a little quick one. I hope everyone has a good day or night, week, month. Talk to you guys, when I get back. I got stuff, I'm busy today. I got stuff to do. It's Old Hallows Eve for the Westerns anyway, for the Westerners, for European folk. It's a little different for me, but it's not important. Um, I pray that everyone uh, hmm, let me think about this one. I don't wanna bullshit you guys. I want to give you like a real truth, a real thing to pray for. You know, pray you reconnect with someone from your past. Did I already say, I feel like I already said that one. Um, but like, now's the time for. I hope. Okay, here's what I hope: that you were able to, during this time in the world where the veil's thin, uh, you're able to hear from your loved ones on the other side, and like really, really feel that and be able to feel them, and yeah. All right, I'm gonna skedaddle. I got stuff. Um, it was nice hearing from you guys though. Check out Candyman if you haven't. If you have, let me know your thoughts because I don't know them unless you've told me them. Um, in which case, uh, thanks. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna go do non-podcast stuff. I'll see you guys. Next week or maybe the 2 weeks from now, when Atlanta is over, so we talk about that and maybe Black Panther. I think we're gonna have guests on that one, so it should be fun. Look out for that. All right, bye.